Welcome to this new interview from Energy Bridge. Today we have a professor from our program, and it's a privilege to having you here, Alex. If we can tell you, Alex, it's he will tell us about his experience and personal motivation in energy field, and we're going to explore a bit the CEE region in energy transition and something about Austria. So yeah, now we have here with Rahul, because last time we didn't introduce ourselves. So here's Daniel, Rahul, and Professor Alexander Fischer.
We are learning.
Right. We're learning
how to be on the camera. No, but Alex, as Daniel said, we can say Alex.
Please say Alex, yes.
Thank you for making out the time. I mean, we know you on a personal level as well, so that's why we are easy. But we would like to just give you the ground, introduce yourself and all the amazing work that you have done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, before we start, let me thank you very much and let me express my honor to be here, to be invited to this session, to talk with you about the energy field, which is, as you said already, my passion. And I had the pleasure, or have still the pleasure, to lecture at the Technical University, and I had you in the class. And now it's going on. Energy is going on, and it's a very important topic.
It's very important. So maybe we could start from the beginning, like your personal motivation to get into this field, and how do you see it back in the time? How was the young Alex when he decided this journey?
Oh, the young Alex is a long time ago.
No.
A long time ago. I had an education in Austria, a technical education in mechanical engineering, and with this, it paves the ground for my next steps. I did not stop learning at that time. I then added in technical education in civil construction and engineering as well. But then had the chance to start in a consulting office. I was hired there after the school, directly after school. And I started there with design of HVAC systems and so on. And
where was it?
In Vienna. It was in Vienna already, a big Austrian Viennese engineering company hired me. And as I said, I started with accounting radiators and all that stuff.
From the consumption.
No. From how much radiators do you need in a building, and so really the basics. Really the basics of engineering. No, I'm from Upper Austria. Okay. I'm originally from Upper Austria, but then the school. And the possibility to take this construction school brought me to Vienna because the opportunity was here. Vienna did not leave me. So I still,
beautiful city.
It's a beautiful city and huge advantages and possibilities.
We were traveling for a week. We can tell you that we missed Vienna a lot.
Really? Already after a week?
The last days were like, I want to be back.
Okay. Okay, great to hear that.
Please continue, Professor, about your journey.
With the starting or counting the radiators and all that stuff, it was a bit boring, honestly, this type of engineering. But then I had the chance to step into the energy field. Energy department were looking for some stuff, and in here I had the chance to start with the design of biomass heating plants. And at the late 90s, there was a big trend in Austria and also Eastern Europe already to make studies look into that field, into district heating systems on biomass.
From biomass. Okay.
From biomass district heating systems.
Biomethane or
No,
electricity
but no, not even electricity, just heat, just the heat
heat.
production.
Okay.
So the district heating system is not that common in Austria. Also, it was, I think, the first initiative from the Austrian government to step out of fossil energy. It was Kyoto Protocol was at that time the leading guideline and document, and here Austria government set in place a subsidy scheme for this kind of biomass district heating systems.
That's it.
And when was it?
It was the late 90s.
Late 90s.
And now there is this project that we're going to talk about in the conference in May, which is the geothermal project that they are making now for district heating.
In Vienna, you mean?
In Vienna, yeah,
Okay.
geothermal district heating.
Super. Okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting. We were seeing lately like how the energy is consumed in households, and it's almost 70% only heating and to heat water for consumption and for heating the house. So maybe we could go into the to get into your home, because you told us something about your the technology that you have implemented after all your knowledge in your own experiment in your house. So it would be nice to know how is that experience with all that the PV project that you have, electric vehicle, the heat pump, because you started with radiator. So how do you do it now in your house? If you could tell us a bit how is the
And also, I mean, I think most of it was learning from your project, right? So if you can also tell what you learned from your project and what you did it at home.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, and great that you have still memories to that. What I told you in the class during the lecture of the energy concepts. During preparation of the documents, I was thinking about some practical examples, and I had some studies which I presented all the time, and then I had also I thought, okay, but these are big scale, the energy concepts on big scales. But also I think important for our energy transition are the energy on a small scale. What everybody in his household can do.
Okay.
And this I implemented then into my course, what I did. And what did I do? I had a very small house with 90 square meters. It was built at the 70s. And I also thought, and this was during our, let's say, energy crisis, where gas price went up. I had a gas boiler installed for central heating, and I thought, okay, what can I do? What can I do here? And then I said, okay, look, I'm working in the field. I'm teaching, I'm lecturing in that field. Then I need to be a positive example and be here and running here in this field. And as I told you, a first thing is to reduce the energy consumption. So my concept was then, what is the isolation? Bad isolation. So first the step was to make an isolation on the building.
Okay,
and
the walls.
On the walls. Walls first. Walls, roof, and windows and doors. I exchanged, except the carrying walls, everything there. Unfortunately, I could not improve the floor, because then I would have need to dismantle everything, all the furniture.
It's cost effective at the end, right? It's too much spent to change all the floor and then install. And
the gains of it is
your house is it's in a building, or it's like a
standalone? It's a standalone building almost.
Yeah, that maybe we could share, because it was very insightful from the classes, is that the most cost-effective energy efficiency measure in a household is to insulate the roof from the beginning. Besides, everything is important from the design. That is much cheaper. You can save 25-30% of the of the features to have a sustainable house in the design is very important, and to insulate the roof. So you started for that.
Yeah.
First, to cover the house.
So to reduce as much as I could the energy demand. And then I was thinking, okay, what is the next step? According to my lecture, is then thinking on adapting the energy production.
Okay.
And here I said, okay, what is the alternative to the gas boiler? It's in my case the air water heat pump.
Heat pump, yeah, that's the.
So I replaced the boiler through the air water heat pump, and doing that, I needed to come back to my radiator issue from the beginning. You remember what I said? I had to replace my radiators because also these radiators has been very old and were on high temperature level design. Because sure, if you have a gas boiler, it runs on high temperature flow rate. And I had to do then going for the heat pump, and so reduce here the flow temperature and these demands and change of the radiators.
I mean, you had you had the passion for it, but a lot of people may watch it, or and a lot of people who were your neighbors. What was the reaction? And did they ask you for a model thing, asking you for how much consumption that you were able to save, and were you able to maybe consult some other people?
Oh yes. It was the right time, because we had it before. It was just let's say the climate issue in television, in public media. But at that time when I did it, we had really the crisis. We had rising prices, and the gas demand or gas supply was in danger and in discussion and so on. And so this was a good.
Year was it?
Huh?
What year?
This was 2020, 2021. At that time,
COVID.
it was COVID pandemic, and yeah, after that the war. Yeah, and I shared my thoughts with my neighbors, what I'm doing, and they were skeptical at the beginning, and then the first one said, I also decided to change. I also decided to change my gas into a heat pump.
Nice.
Super.
And I also shared, and then what I told you then, the PV plant, because with having the heat pump, I also wanted to produce my own energy. So not to take the energy from the grid, to take others' energy. I wanted to produce my own energy, what I need for my comfort.
Perfect.
So then I took the investment for the PV plant, and also this I shared with my neighbors, and they followed. I had here a very nice group where they said, okay, they are doing the same with the time shift, and with all the discussions made them think and consider their demands, their advantages, and they opted and decided for the same investment. And this was really, I was really happy that these people, which are not so detached to energy or renewables.
How much was it cost to change everything? You already defined about 90 square meter.
Yeah. Well, let's say altogether
around
I would say 30 to 40,000 euros altogether.
But with heat pump, PV.
With heat pump, with the radiators before, insulation, heat pump, PV plant, battery storage, and so on.
So for sure, you made the numbers. What is the
ROI?
ROI, yeah. And in how many years do you feel the pay?
Yeah. So I adapted my presentation to the students, and exactly that I did include in the presentation, which I had the pleasure to hold the past weekend. And the ROI, I just calculated the PV installation. And here I said within 6 years, I have recovered the investment just for the PV and the battery package.
And heat pump, is it too rentable? Or
Invite me once again, and I will
Okay.
present the exact figures after that. I don't have it now.
And we went to event in Amsterdam last week, and they were talking about zero bills houses. So how is your house in bills? After all that investment, you have small bills or paying the same? How has been the difference?
Yeah. Regarding the bills, my ambition is still to be energy autark on the electrical level.
Okay.
So I analyzed my PV plus battery. I installed a 10.2 kilowatt hours battery in my house. And this winter I figured out that we have some foggy days. And after the foggy days, we have very bright sunshine, huge sun, and I fill up the battery and inject a lot of energy into the grid in winter time.
Okay.
So, and the logical consequence was then to increase the battery storage capacity. And I installed a second 10 kilowatt hours package. So I have 20 kilowatt hours. And since this installation, I don't need any power from the grid.
Wow.
So I can.
That's the consumption.
So yeah. Otherwise, I had the full load full loaded battery in let's say noontime, and during the afternoon and during the night I discharged the battery, and from 3 o'clock onwards I then took electricity from the grid.
Now you're feeding
But now I can, with that battery, I have still 20-30% in the morning, and if sun rises, then it fills up the battery again.
Okay, and now I don't know if you have more these technological toys in your house, but the electric vehicle, how do you do it? During the night, is part of this load package?
Yeah.
How do you
Well, my electrical vehicle was one part of my personal energy contribution, so that I said, okay, if I want to have comfort in transportation, I don't want to destroy the environment. I don't want to emit CO2. I invest in electric vehicle. But this does not match to the size of PV plant what I have, because my electrical vehicle has a battery capacity of 77 kilowatt hours, and I just produce, let's say, the 20 for the battery I have in the house. If I would charge with that, the car would be partly full, and I would have nothing left for my house. So I have I charge it from the grid, the car, but I selected here a 100% renewable energy energy supplier, electrical energy supplier from wind energy.
Amazing. So you can choose here. Yeah, you have.
I have the freedom to choose whatever supplier I will take, and I took a wind energy developer who sells directly the wind power, and this electricity I feed in my car. So I'm not from my own PV plant, but I still know that's 100% green electricity.
Maybe I want the nerdy part of the details, but so you have an electrical circuit independent for the car and the house. You have 2 meters or only 1 meter?
No, it's only 1 meter.
Only 1 meter, and everything is split inside. Okay.
Yeah, you're basically just saying that you will never charge a car from your.
In winter time. In summertime, I would have enough electricity to charge it, but not to fully charge it, because also the production during the day is not from 20 to 80% of the battery. I would need 2 days. When I plug in and I use the surplus energy of my house, of my PV plant, then I will put it into the car, but it takes me 2 days to be fully charged.
Okay, that is what
great.
amazing.
It was very insightful,
inspiring.
And inspiring as well. I mean, I'm glad that you're doing it, and you're already being able to do it for your neighbors as well.
Yeah, it's like be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah,
this is an example.
Thank you.
No, but Alex, we would like to go forward to understand a bit more about the Austrian landscape. How do you see? I mean, you said you're old, right? No, you're young, but let's say from 90s onwards, how did you see the energy landscape changing in Austria?
Yeah, we had some very small trends to renewables, and in Austria, basically, it was on the heating side. It was connected to wood, so it was the pellets oven. There was a development of that. We had wood chips district heating. What I told you at the beginning, biomass, this kind of woody biomass. This was a trend at that time. Then after the heating, then also we had a new feed-in tariff law. It was 2004, I guess, when they started, and then they did reshape the law afterwards, and then we had a trend into cogeneration.
Okay.
So that installing a biomass boiler, producing steam, basically, and you have the heat and
the residual heat to generate more steam, more electricity.
more steam and heat and electricity. But here at the beginning, we had the issue that the law did not force, let's say, the project development as such that you have electrical production and the need for the heat use. So we had some projects at the beginning using just electricity, and as we know from the lecture, we just use, let's say, 22-25% of the energy of the wood, and the rest
it's heat.
It's heat to the environment.
So you move as a country. Started with renewables in biomass, and then I have seen plenty of windmills. So in some point, were they fostered or it was natural from the market?
It was also, let's say, a result of the feed-in tariff law, what we had, so that some companies, entrepreneurs, pioneers at that time, stepped into the electrical energy production and said, wind power is mine. And they were, if you're going from Vienna towards Hungary, you see in that area a lot of windmills, because this is really, really good for that. We have a very constant, relatively high wind speed and perfect for that. So there was a development from the electrical point of view in wind energy.
I have a question about like wood as a carrier, energy carrier, because where I come from, wood was like, okay, you should not be using wood for cooking food. It's pollution. I mean, of course, there's so many other stuff about it, but using wood as a carrier, if you can explain that, how exactly it's still renewable.
Yeah, well, this is a good discussion. If you burn wood, you produce CO2. This is a chemical reaction, but considering the whole life cycle of a tree and the combustion of it, and taking into consideration that we in Austria have a reforestation regime and law, and everybody is interested. If you own a forest, you're interested in keeping the forest as such. Even if you take a tree out of it, you replant something so that you have still a forest. And taking this circle into consideration, it was defined that wood biomass is considered as CO2 neutral.
Okay, for the whole
life cycle, considering the whole life cycle from growing up, absorbing, capturing the CO2 until using it, burning it. Then
it would not be same for every country, right?
No. Yeah, right. You were right, and this discussion started again also on EU level, having in mind the discussion about the RED III directive, where this especially was reconsidered if we should stick on the zero carbon emission neutral strategy, because in fact you have more CO2 production when you burn it in a shorter period of time than the tree takes it to absorb the CO2.
Yeah.
So if you have the lifespan of the tree is 30, 40 years, and you release that CO2 within days or hours even.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is an imbalance, and this is a discussion going on if wood should be still considered as CO2 neutral.
Yeah, also we saw it in a lecture about architecture, that it's the same debate from house made of wood, if they are neutral or not, because what happened after.
Yeah,
that's a discussion.
recycling.
It's a hot topic.
It's a good thing, and also I think one thing was using the biomass for energy production. Should we do that, or should we leave the tree in a forest which still absorbs CO2, and the other is releasing CO2, but compensating the energy demand what you have, which might be fossil fuel. So
Long discussion.
It's
another episode just for
just for those terminology. No, but it's always great that to ask such questions, because in the whole dialogue that we are having about energy transition, we always need to make sure that even in a region at EU, at CEE, for Austria, there are a lot of different biases that you need to consider. So just going forward into that, like of course you have a lot of background in Austria, but we know that how much of the work that you have done in Central and the Eastern Europe, how you saw the energy landscape transitioning and over there, like all across, if you have some examples.
Yeah, in the Eastern Europe was also very interested into the technologies and into the schemes as well. Also here, biomass in that region where wood is available was an issue, or thinking on my project in Romania in the wind energy sector, also where here the area is suitable for wind. Also here this was I think which they took early enough, try to attract also to investors, and bless you. And main driver for that was the establishment of a feeding
From the Amsterdam trip.
was the feed-in tariff system. If there was a feed-in tariff system in place, this gives the, let's say, economical ground to invest, to have a stable investment, to get funds even. So there was, if some feed-in tariff system was in place. In Romania, we have the green certificate, or if you have a direct feed-in tariff, whatever system, if you have something, then such projects, an incentive system, in which case ever, then investments were attracted into that field.
Are there now some feed-in tariff regime in some countries in Central and Eastern Europe, or they don't have feed-in tariff?
Actually, I did not follow that what is currently. But I guess there are still some feed-in tariffs, because the existing plants, wind, PV projects, whatever, does need this feed-in tariff system to survive, let's say.
Yeah, well, if someone knows about some feed-in tariff regimes, leave it in the comments to keep learning, right? Because what is happening there in Central and Eastern Europe, and it's one of the purpose or these talks, it's to showcase what is happening there. So
nice, man. But doing audience interaction.
That's good.
Super.
But I mean, also, you got to work in Romania. Was there some other country in Eastern Europe?
In Croatia. Croatia a lot at the beginning, also in Hungary, because there was also from the Austrian government some subsidies for supporting their district heating system. So if you have a neighbor city which is polluting fossil emissions out of fossil energy, then Austrian government did also give some subsidies, and we did some projects over there, also some district heating systems on, guess what, biomass.
Yeah, we love our biomass.
Yeah.
But also, just to understand, do you feel with your experience of working in these countries so much, like what do you see there? There are a lot of projects happening over there, but what projects you think should be in priority for the energy transition that we envision?
Yeah. Thinking also on the Austrian market, where maybe other frame conditions are, but the problems, I guess, are always the same. Is the distribution network, the electrical distribution network. Because I think on the small scale household level, we can replace fossil energy through going into electricity. We can use heat pumps for our heating, and should really keep the fossil energy for that industries where they really need fossil energy to have high temperature processes, for instance, where we need to burn something.
Well, not for everything.
Not for everything, because I think we should have, we should know now that this is really a high value. The fossil energy is high value in so far that it's limited, because at some point we are out of energy, and to keep that energy what we have for that industries which really needs it, and we should not waste it for, let's say, space heating.
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense.
And also for transportation, we would have other solutions to go with.
Hey, I have a question in the sense that we hear that now CEE as a region is not going to be dependent on Russian gas and all of that because of everything that is happening, but it is still, Hungary still had some of them coming, and Austria's too.
No,
No?
it was cut on
A
December.
couple of months.
Well, yeah, I just can believe what is told in the media, and there's a trend going away from Russian gas. I know that we have still a contract, but I think we are on solving that issue, that we are obliged to take gas, and we have other sources already where to take the natural gas from.
Yeah. My question is based more on as we think about the energy mix scenario for this region then, away from gas. We talked about a lot of renewable potential. What else do you see as a new technology which is just specified for CE as a region and not, we are not dependent on, let's say, like Western Europe, about Scandinavia, just for Austria, like neighboring countries and like further away, which has coast. So what do you see, what's going to be the new energy scenario for all of this region?
Wow. What a question.
Yeah, really. Yeah, well, what could be?
You don't get him every day.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, tricky. I think this to distinguish a bit under individual, as we said, we should go into electricity, which is our driver for mobility and for space heating. And for the rest, for industries, we have some energy demands which it's eventually or partially can be replaced by electricity as well. But on the other hand side, we need some energy carrier to supply this sort of energy for this industrial production. Yeah, and here an alternative is hydrogen from my perspective, and we analyzed this in in a study in a Romanian project where we thought about the solution for district heating companies, and this is one thing we looked into. Yeah, to use hydrogen, but yeah, this is also the next high value energy carrier, because we say when we talk about the hydrogen, we say green hydrogen. So we have to use renewable energy for that. So therefore, we have to have the capacity of electrical power to produce all the hydrogen we need, and therefore we need to install much more renewable energy production plants.
On that note, just a follow-up thing, because I completely agree that for electricity generation, there's a lot happening if we take the example of Austria as well. But for industry, for all the high heat processes that they have, they require their own energy carrier. I mean, there could be a certain degree of electrification that can be done, and I believe everyone is aiming for it, but you need a secondary energy carrier. What is the timeline you see? Because this is the interesting stuff that I ask everyone. I mean, everyone is guessing, but let's see what's our guess here. What do you see like going forward? What is the scenario that we're looking at?
Yeah, well, on the one hand side, we have our scenario, which is well, the perspective of our government that in 2030 for Austria we would like to be we would like to produce 100% of our electricity from renewables.
And 2040 carbon neutral.
Carbon neutral, right? This is the target set by the Austrian government for some years ago. We know that we increase our electrical consumption year by year through heat pumps, electrical demands, and other things what we have, but we are not that fast to increase our production capacities. So just on that. Just on the demand side and the production side, the demand gets bigger, and this consumes the additional electrical production which we install every year. So this is for
the gap that we are talking about.
I think so around 20%, around 20% something, which we have to run after. We have the big advantage of hydropower in Austria.
Yeah,
this is the
beautiful
huge day.
Summer and electricity.
Yes, perfect, right? This is the hydropower, which gives the high percentage of renewable content already, but the last 20% is really hard to be done. Because on the other hand side, you see, well, our colleagues, professor colleagues, and other people prepared the studies. Therefore, said that wind and PV is the alternative for Austria to make this gap. But looking into the media as well, nobody wants them. Nobody wants a windmill, or nobody wants a PV project.
That's the banana problem, right? Like build anything near my place.
Yeah.
Not even PV.
Not even PV.
Yeah, PV on the house. This is not a question, but the big PVs. Big PV projects, utility scale in megawatt scale. This is the issue. To first get a dedicated area where you're allowed to, and then to get this dedication. This is the big issue. So we are running after the electrical renewable part, but then thinking on the next step to add additional electrical power to produce this new energy carrier, let's say hydrogen or ammonia, or whatever you have in mind in that sense. So this is really the challenge what we have.
Yeah. The last
percentage of it. It's
But Professor and Alex, Do you see that this region of Central and Eastern Europe, with the EU definition, the 11 countries, and Austria, I mean, most advanced energy system compared to like the neighbors for sure. What do you think the regional cooperation can be to making sure that the other energy systems evolve? Like, of course, you get to do a lot of projects there. There are a lot of projects happening. They're lacking some knowledge transfer for sure, but Austria has a lot of opportunity as well in terms of to regional cooperation and doing the things that have not been done. Like from your experience, what are the challenges that you had to face in some of those countries, if you can name?
Yeah, personally, we started in 2010 the development of a biomass cogeneration plant, which we could never even start building it. We were stuck in the preparation of documentation, applying for permits, and if we got one, we lost another one. So
That was
in Croatia.
Croatia.
Croatia. Yeah. So on the one hand side, we face the bureaucratic burdens,
Permitting that
permits, the permit structures, and that. I don't know if this was because we have been foreign investors, if a local investor would have been faster or it would be easier for them, but I can just share my experience here. And this we tried a lot of time to get forward. We brought in the know-how. We had the know-how how to design, and we had all the papers, but get the permits and all the stuff.
Yeah, and would you say that it's a knowledge transfer gap that we have with the CEE region and Western Europe? Like, for example, in order to understand more the projects to give the permits because it's better for the electrical matrix, or in other countries like Romania you mentioned, or Polonia, who are the carbonizing fast, as we have seen. How do you see the importance of knowledge transfer?
Technologically wise, I think there is no need of no knowledge transfer. They have brilliant technicians over there in Romania, in Croatia. I work together. I have dear friends over there. They are technicians, and we made projects together. So everybody benefits from the experience from the others. So I think there is no need to tell them what to do. It's the structure itself, how to set up on a higher level such things. What is the intention? Because I think here the affordable cost of energy. This is one thing. This is on the governmental level, which should be considered first before promoting the subsidy scheme or so. Because I've seen the initiatives of the government. Yes, we promote here a subsidizing scheme, a feed-in tariff, green certificates, and then the government figured out, okay, when the project are realized, what does it cost on the budget level? What do I need to pay according to the law I give to this company? And then we have seen in the countries different changes then in the laws, because finally somebody needs to pay that, and this is basically the population. And here we need to be very careful what a population can afford to pay for the energy.
Okay, but would you say that renewable energy is cheaper than fossil energy, right?
Renewable energy, it depends which year you consider. When we say the years before, we had really cheap energy, and my personal opinion, the energy was too cheap, because not really energy saving measures were even considered. Also here, not in Austria. So here, because we had really cheap energy, cheap gas. What we then saw when we had the increase of the gas prices, that the energy has a value and it's really worth to save the energy, to think if I should take the car, if I should do this trip or not, if I should take the plane or not, or I can do my conversation via MS Teams.
Yeah, impact your personal life in some point.
Yeah.
Then you realize how important it is.
Yeah.
We give it like granted, but
we give it for granted because at the petrol station, okay, we can afford the price. But I think this is also one thing, the energy should have the real value. That we really are forced more or attracted, not forced, let's say, more attracted to save the energy, to be more respectful in the use of energy.
Yeah, it's true. Well, part of our mission is also to transfer knowledge to the citizens or not energy related professionals and people.
Yeah, and just
Magic of television.
yeah, we were talking about the differences that you see in Western and Eastern Europe in terms of energy transition. The essentially not just with obtaining permit or doing a project, but what are the differences you feel that the regional challenges and opportunity too?
Yeah, I think there is a high interest in new technologies. Thinking on the district heating systems, the existing ones with old installations. They are seeking for new technologies. So let's say not new invented technologies, but for them new to be installed. So to be replaced. This is something what I figured out in Eastern Europe. They know the technologies, as I said. There is no need to teach them something. In that sense, they know this very, very good. But it's difficult for them to implement because coming from the population, they need to pay for the energy, and they pay less because the interests of the government, the local government, there is to provide cheap energy to the population. So there, with the cheap energy, they cannot do that big investments. So when I would sum up, it's a big structural change would need to happen. So to allow the increase of the population's contribution to the energy system, so that they need to pay a bit more, so that investments can be taken from the operators of the district heating systems to replace, to renew, to install new technologies, even renewable technologies, and then to contribute here to the reduction of energy.
Yeah, there was a discussion in the event that we went in Amsterdam about somebody has to pay the
bill,
the energy transition investment.
Right.
So how to do it in collaboration with government? How can the investment assure certain period of return of investment, some certain energy price? So this is we will say that a current discussion that who is going to pay the energy transition investment, right?
Yeah, right. And I think we should pay it now in small portions by higher energy prices.
Many years.
Then to pay the future damages what we have on the nature.
Exactly.
And
that's all.
We have floods, we have storms, etc. And I think now to increase the price a bit to make the energy transition possible, I think it's the better way then have cheap energy and then finally have to invest a lot in recovering from the damages.
Where are you on nuclear energy? I mean, Austria, we know where it stands, but you got to work a lot in Hungary and Romania as well, and they have slightly different opinion. And Romania still has a lot of functional nuclear plants, right?
Right. And I think also Croatia has a share in the in another neighbor's plant. But however, I personally did not follow honestly the nuclear issue. I have a personal opinion, and let's say if you are just looking into CO2 neutrality, then okay, yeah, it's not polluting CO2. If you are saying, okay, for renewable energy and the energy transition path, you need a lot of power. And okay, with one nuclear power plant, you can inject a lot of electrical power. Okay, would also be a benefit. But we know all the danger
what's the cost?
is going in parallel, and the real costs. So I think the costs of it, because normally this energy is subsidized, or the investment is subsidized to reach out the cheap energy. And if you have real costs, it's not comparable, it's much higher than the renewable energy.
Yeah, and maybe not going too deep, but it's also something about energy independency, right? Geopolitically also. Where do you get the material from, right? So, too many factors that it makes.
Yeah. Thank you that you mentioned this the energy neutrality, because you can say you are believing in climate change or not. But I can say it, I feel the climate change. If this is belonging to CO2 emission, I cannot say, I'm not the expert in.
Are like
The graphs are in that direction.
Like
The science says.
Yeah, but we were in the middle of a very interesting thought about
energy
the
neutrality and
nuclear
energy independence.
and energy independence geopolitically. So you were going.
Yeah, I was starting to say that even if you're not believing in the climate change, then I always say into my lectures, we should do renewable energy to be energy independent.
That's the
because with everything, and also coming back to my project, I try to be energy independent, produce my energy, not to be depending on the others, on probably fossil energy producers which are connecting. We need to produce the electricity because nothing else is available currently. So to be independent should be our driver, and we see. So the energy prices and the war, what causes the high energy prices, we are depending on fossil energy supply. We in Austria are not producing that much fossil energy, not the gas, not the petrol, that much. We have some very small resources, but not that much. The big one we need to import. And this should be our driver to go into the direction of renewables. If we are not believing climate change is a good thing to work against.
Yeah, well, actually, in Vienna this winter, I don't remember one snow maybe, but no day with a strong snow, right? When I came here, people told me, yeah, but it's very cold city where you're going to have snow. But the last winter it was.
You did not find it.
No. So
you wanted to ski in Vienna, but fortunately, no ski.
No, but it's interesting that it's whether you believe in climate change or not, it's happening.
It's a hope.
So yeah. So yeah.
No, but just asking you about I think what we are trying to also do is uncover complexities of this region in terms of energy transition, about energy ecosystem, energy system, what's exactly happening. I mean, me living in Netherlands for the last 5 years, and I got to know a lot about the Western ecosystem because all the projects that they're doing, they're really in the media. You have a lot of knack of what's happening in the system, but I feel this region lacks a bit of transparency. What is happening exactly? Unless you really go deeper into it and start going into the local media, a lot of projects are not uncovering that what can really happen there, and how can it be coherent with the other system. Like, for example, you have advanced ecosystem in let's call Scandinavia being the most advanced ecosystem for energy transition. But you cannot have the same projects going on in Scandinavia and have something similar going on in Romania or Hungary. So what do you see? How do we balance that at first, so that their challenges are also get the attention that it really seeks?
Oh yeah, I think when you say advanced ecosystem, it's the total. It's the understanding of the population, the connection to nature, the connection to resources. I think it's a development which the Canadian countries made through already. We are on our way, and in Eastern Europe, this is in development still. So to have a connection to that this has a value, and need to take care, own responsibility for that, because they came out of an area where somebody else took care of everything. Now they need to take care about themselves and be responsible for that. And I think my personal opinion is that this needs to be developed more, but I think this is a matter of generation, this self-responsibility.
And also it's an advantage as well for the region, because a lot has not been done, so they can learn and do it better.
Yeah, if they see an advantage in doing it better.
Yeah.
If they see it worked well in the past years, I had my home heated, and where the heat is coming from, I don't care, then nothing will change.
Yeah.
But if they will say, okay, I have own responsibility to that, and where I'm connected, what I'm doing, how much energy I consume, then I think we all will here do something. And I would not say that it's just a thing in Eastern Europe. I think everybody of us here as well in Vienna, in Austria, need more responsibility, self-responsibility about what we are doing to our nature, and how we consume the energy, what for we consume.
Deep message, like it.
Yeah, very well said. And you think like the innovation and the research that is going on, it should have some regional weightage in it. So what I basically means that when we say advanced ecosystem, it also means why they are advanced is because the collaboration between the academia, industry, and research organization is way more coherent than ecosystems which are not that advanced. So I believe you think there needs to be a bit more cooperation between academia, industry, and the research organization in this region as a whole as well, like for the whole energy ecosystem as well.
I think the exchange of it would be a benefit. The exchange and the understanding of each other would be one thing, because we cannot do improvements in the nature, in the environment, give some obligations to the industry to improve something when we are not listening to the industry and their demands. What they do have? We have now, we are not in best economic situations now in Austria, and on the other hand side, we need to do something for the environment. But doing for the environment would probably has a negative impact to the industry, which will not then gives an economic impulse. So I think this need to go hand in hand, and both and also industry need to have more understanding that they need to do something, but this need to be balanced, because otherwise it's always a fight. This prevails, the industry prevails. Other one, the environmental issues are prevailing. So this must be a hand in hand approach. Both need to have understanding for the other side, and that we are going forward. We need to understand that we have to do something. We have to adapt something, but this must be in the balance between industry and also the environment, but also the households should be involved in this.
Prosumers.
Correct, the prosumers and consumers, because we had a big discussion about that people cannot afford to heat their homes. This also should not be the case. We should also take care about this kind of population who are suffering and having problems to heat, because this should be a basic need which should be covered. And so we as the society has the obligation to take also care on that group. So that also here we do something for the environment, would mean some investment, would mean some increase of costs on the consumer side, but we should not forget the people who cannot afford these higher prices, so that we also have this in mind. And industry and environment should go hand in hand, not against each other.
That's only to highlight two concepts that you have mentioned that it's fantastic. It's just transition, like to not forget the people that cannot afford when the prices are high, and the other that it's a concept that is powering us now in this project. It's energy transition will be possible only if we work all together and aligned with the information on the table, the science backing us up. So all together, I think it's a very good message.
Yeah, I mean that's our way of with the energy bridge. What we are trying to bridge, it essentially all silos of energy transition. It could be policymakers, it could be academia, industry. Just bringing them all together and talk more and be a bit more transparent with each other. Because what we have noticed that the platforms that they are coming together, there's still a gap between transparency, and I think there definitely a bit more need for collaboration, and they cannot wait for another conference or another another meeting to collaborate. They need a constant touch with each other, and there's a need to establish such. So that's where we come in, and that's what we aspire to do. I mean, we are a long way away from that, and we are for now, we're just trying to understand that. But we do see the transparency gap, and we would like to bridge that. How do you see as a concept what we are envisioning?
Yeah, you see, what should I say? Perfect. There's perfect match to that. What's currently needed to foster the energy transition, to make a bridge between different parties, different interests, and to give more, let's say, also more know-how in that sense of understanding, not so technical know-how, but more openness, to create the openness to all them and bring them together to exchange the experience. And
amazing. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And just closing out argument, Alex, how do you see the future of energy sector? And also, what kind of advice that you would give the young professionals now that who enter? How do you see it changing for if we talk about the professional side of it, for the work side of it? What kind of job, what kind of skills that people should have?
The skills, I think, should have a basic education in energy and understanding of the energy itself, and then it depends on the interests of everybody who would like to go in a certain direction. And we have a broad field of we tackled the wind power, so we increased wind turbine sizes on the market every year. You can always develop more here, or hydrogen, or also these other energy carriers around that. So I think we need all of the bunch what we have here now in renewable energy to supply the demand which we have in the future. Okay. So there are different fields you can go in. I think the most important thing is that talking about it and talking with your neighbors, explaining what you are doing, and then they start to think about this and then they find their ways to adapt according to their needs and also to their possibilities, what they can do.
And just on, because I really like it what you're talking about, the citizen engagement in the energy transition. Do you have any recommendation for policymakers in this, especially in Central and Eastern Europe, how they can make those people, like, even I don't want to go too deep into how much of the solar PV that people are installing there, but the number is in very stark contrast to some of the, let's say, if you see in Netherlands or in Scandinavia, because there's subsidies first of all, but if the citizen will demand, there will be subsidies as well in those countries too. What do you think, like, could be some recommendation for policymakers?
Yeah, thinking on that, how we develop in our production, and we talked about what we did achieve in the different areas. And we see that the big, and also from my professional experience, I see the big projects are lasting long and taking a lot of power. And let's say you cannot be sure if you are successful at the final end with big projects. So the smaller ones are easier to be realized. And coming back to own responsibility, and maybe we are also responsibility to produce that what we consume. And to policymakers, it could be made a bit easier for the population to take investments, because the initial investment is really huge. What you need to take for PV, for inverters, and all the equipment you have. You need to have an electrician who gives you the final certificate, the check of it at the end. So this a lot of costs you have to carry, and it would be great if the government would foster that, would support this on their end, that everybody can take his own responsibility and invest his own money and do a small piece. And if we do all a small piece, we get also a huge one in total.
Yeah, there is a Chilean poet which have this verse, which is it's small people in different parts doing small things can change the world.
Right.
So maybe it can be
right. This is a good word.
Close here. On that note, for the change in the world, thank you, Alex, for giving us the time. I think it's been very, very insightful, and I think we'll be sitting sometime very soon again.
Thank you for this invitation. It was a great pleasure sitting here, talking to you, exchanging with you the different insights.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.